Welcome, Pierce College students, to Week 2 of Microeconomics. Chapters covered in Week 2 are Chapters 3, Market Economics, and Chapter 6, Elasticity, which is an extension of Market Economics. Be certain to read Chapters 3 and Chapter 6, review the lecture notes and the practice questions and answers associated with the lecture notes. Students are also provided with several examples of market economic scenarios, excellent learning tools. Be certain to download and review these learning tools. As you are already aware, the academic responsibilities for this microeconomics course are equally distributed among the 7 weeks of the course offering. Students are responsible to complete the same three types of academic responsibilities each week: Connect assignments, weekly quiz, and weekly discussion. Week 2 Connect assignments, Chapter 3 and Chapter 6. Please be certain to tackle Chapter 3 and Chapter 6 Connect assignments this week. Stay on course with the Connect assignments. The Week 2 quiz challenges students to demonstrate a thorough understanding of market economics and the principles and concepts related to supply and demand. More about that in a moment. The Week 2 discussion asks students to weigh in on an age-old economic debate, the minimum wage debate. Students are provided with an article from Yahoo Finance, which also contains a link with a woman discussing the pros and cons of minimum wage law changes. Make certain that you acquire this article sent to students through Canvas messaging and also available on the website in the discussion forum. Chapter 3 introduces students to one of the most important economic concepts covered in the microeconomics course, and that is market economics. The interaction of buyers and sellers, which determine equilibrium, price, and quantity in the market. Students will be introduced to market economics. Students will need to understand the demand side of the equation, how buyers behave, represented by this downward sloping red demand curve, and the producer/supply side or seller side of the equation, the upward sloping blue curve here. Be certain you identify what's being measured on our graph here. The purpose of using graphical analysis to analyze markets is ultimately to determine equilibrium, price, and quantity in the market. The vertical axis measures price in the market. The horizontal axis measures quantity in the market. Oftentimes students get confused because they talk about supply, they talk about demand, but they miss the entire overall picture, and that is the interaction of buyers and sellers ultimately determine equilibrium, price, and quantity. This chapter is extremely important because the market concepts will be applied throughout the course, especially when we start to investigate the 4 market models of pure competition, monopoly, oligopoly, and monopolistic competition. We will discuss and debate the efficiency of competitive markets, the rationing function of prices, and the invisible hand. We will weigh in on government involvement in markets and the role of governments to reallocate resources. Be certain you study these market principles in detail. As mentioned earlier, the quiz challenges students to apply market principles and concepts to several market scenarios. Students should be familiar with what are referred to as the non-price determinants of demand, 5 of them, and the 6 non-price determinants of supply, which ultimately change equilibrium, price, and quantity in the market. These 4 graphs demonstrate how changes by either buyers or sellers, demand or supply respectively, ultimately impact equilibrium, price, and quantity in the market. Remember, the entire purpose of studying markets is to identify equilibrium, price, and quantity, and then to investigate how changes in demand or supply ultimately impact or change equilibrium, price, and quantity in the market. This is all Chapter 3 Economics. The last portion of your learning experience this week will involve elasticity, and more specifically, elasticity of demand. In Chapter 3, students will be introduced to the idea of demand as a relationship between price and quantity, the various amounts of a good or service that buyers are willing and able to purchase, series of prices, specified amount of time, and the law of demand. Elasticity measures responsiveness to change in price. Elasticity of demand is the springboard for the week 2 discussion board questions. Be certain you remember to include market economics and principles and concepts related to elasticity of demand when constructing your week 2 discussion board contributions. Good luck with your second week of study. Do not hesitate to reach out if I can be of any assistance with any of your academic responsibilities for the second week of the course.